Okay, I think we are live now. Yeah, today I'm gonna try to this course by Josh Comeau. It's called, where is actually the name of the course? CSS for JavaScript developers. And the great thing about it is this learning in public section from the introduction module. And here's what. Please feel free to stream your progress on Twitch or YouTube, or share images from the course on Twitter or anywhere else. And yeah, this is something really exciting for me because I like to spend time learning something, and I want to try streaming. And this is, I always worried if I buy some course, I can't really share it on stream because it's kind of private, etc. And yeah, this piece is just exciting. So my story with CSS is like, I kind of familiar with it, but it's never was my like daily job. And I saw this course some time ago on Twitter. Some great people have get some cool feedback about it, and I expect it will be really nice. But personally, for me, at that moment, I wasn't expect to like interact with CSS, so I kind of wanted to see this course, but don't really need it. So, and at this moment, I expect I will be use kind of CSS in work those days, maybe with React. So yeah, it's just nice time to learn something new about CSS. I've started like module 0. It's like some it basically about recap on fundamentals, some terminology, etc. So yeah, so just kind of fundamentals recap. Yeah, exactly. So let's just continue with it. So this section about pseudo-classes. Let's say we have a button and we want to change its text color when we hover over it. We can do this with the hover pseudo class. Yeah, I think this is something most of people here already, like really basic stuff. You hover and you have this colon hover. Pseudo classes let us apply chunk of CSS based on elements current state. In this case, we are adding a blue text color when the element is hovered. This is similar to on mouse enter or mouse leave event in JavaScript, but with built-in state management. If we write to do this in JS, we need to register event listeners, but we also need to manage the state somehow to know if the element is currently being hovered. Yeah, maybe let me open the chat in case we have some viewers and people want to chat about it, so we can quickly take a look, maybe make it bigger. All right. So yeah, as a result, CSS make this kind of things much simpler. Yeah, of course, just have hover. In most cases, it just simply then do this on event listeners, like on mouse enter, on mouse leave. You need to write much more code for it, etc. As a result, okay, yeah, there is a lot of pseudo classes, and we'll learn about many of them throughout this course. For now, let's pick a couple more. What this link is? Yeah, it's to Mozilla MDN web docs and pseudo classes. And is there at the list a full screen model picture in picture? It's really interesting one. I never saw them actually before. Autofill, enable, disable, read only, read write. Maybe it makes sense at some point to, yeah, go over one by one. Especially if you're like, yeah, this one's something I used before. Like, if you need some of the children, like last, first, or ends. Three structural pseudo classes. Okay. And the first was, I wonder, element display state. Okay. Yeah, definitely a lot of them. Okay, let's back to our course. So, focus HTML comes with interactive element like button, links, and form inputs. When we interact with one of those elements, either by clicking on it or tapping on it, it becomes focused. It will capture keyboard input, so we can type into form field or press enter to follow link. So there is style for focus of the button, and it is on hover, but if we press it apply this style, and we also can do this sorry, mess up with the shortcut. We can do shift tab to back and tab to forward. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately something wrong with my OBS. It won't show the mouse. And it's kind of a problem for me. There is a setting, but like it's enabled in my setting in OBS. But it's still not shown, so I need to fix it somehow. Maybe I need to reinstall OBS or something like this. So yeah, this is about focus stuff, not really interesting. Checked. The checked pseudo class only applies to checkboxes and radio button that filled in. You can apply addition styles to indicate that the input is activated. So yeah, checked is completely different style. Okay. Browser don't offer too much flexibility when it comes to checkbox and radio buttons, but this is neat trick let you apply certain CSS properties depending on its status. Okay. First, last, child. Pseudo classes aren't just for states like hover, focus, checked. They can also help us conditional logic. For example, let's suppose we have a set of paragraphs within a section. So we have a section and 3 paragraphs. Now, okay, there is quite a lot of space under the final paragraph. Why isn't it symmetrical? The problem here is this rule. So the rule, yeah, we apply margin bottom. So we have margin bottom for each one, and we also have section padding. So for the last one we have section padding plus margin bottom, and this is kind of the problem. Yeah, this rule meant we add space between each paragraph, but it also applied to the final paragraphs. We can see this in the dev tools. As we learn in the next module, that orange rectangle represents margin, and we don't want that bottom margin to apply to the final paragraph. And we do this margin bottom 0. Last child. Neat, isn't it? Here's how it works. Last child pseudo-classes will only select p tags which are the final element within its container. It needs to be the last child within its parent. Similarly, the first child pseudo-class will match the first child within the parent container. For example, yeah, just make first one red with this pseudo-class. So what about first of type and last of type? In addition to first child and last child, we also have first of type and last of type. There is almost identical, but they have one critical difference. First of type depends on the type of the HTML tag. For example, let's suppose we have the following setup. Okay. So it's not working, right? It's not red. So the first child within the parent section tag is an H1. This is interesting. Our first child is looking for solution where a paragraph in the first child within the parent container. It doesn't work in this case. But if we switch to the selector P first of type, it does work. Oh, this is interesting one. Yeah, I believe both of these pseudo classes make some use cases. Quite interesting. So, yeah, the first of type pseudo class ignores any sibling that aren't of the same type. In this case, P first of type is going to select the first paragraph within container regardless of whatever or not is the first child. Yeah, it's just recap on fundamentals, so we're trying to move fast over it. I think more exciting things will be in module 1, not in module 0, but still I think we should pass through this one as well. So pseudo-elements. Pseudo-elements are like pseudo-classes, but they don't target a specific state. Instead, they target sub-elements within an element. For example, we can style the placeholder text in form of input with placeholder. Okay, placeholder, yeah. Can we change it? Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, golden road is cooler. We can reset everything, I think. Need to press and hold. Oh, this one is do pressure for us. So if we press it, look. It reformat with the pressure. Can have full screen. And this number of the lines. Okay. Yeah, just remind myself how this playground works. So in terms of syntax, Pseudo-elements use 2 colons instead of 1. Okay. So some Pseudo-elements also support single colon syntax. Okay. Actually, I don't think I ever use placeholder. Maybe. Somewhere back in the days. If we stop and think about it, something pretty interesting is happening here. We have explicitly created a placeholder element, but by adding the placeholder attribute to the input tag, a pseudo element is created. This is why they're called pseudo elements. Those selectors target elements in the DOM that we haven't explicitly created with HTML tags. Okay. Placeholder and accessibility. You may have heard that placeholders are bad for accessibility and shouldn't be used. My personal opinion is that they're alright to use when they used properly. The trouble is that many developers use them improperly. Placeholders are criticized because the text is typical very light. If someone has poor vision, they might not be able to read the text at all. Here is the thing. So placeholders aren't meant to contain a critical information. They are meant to provide an example, to give folks an idea how to format their data. They should never be used to label an input. Use a label element instead. Okay, this is not a really interesting topic for me right now. Maybe I will back to it in some future. Before and after. Two of the most common pseudo elements are before and after. Here is an example. So before we want this arrow, and yeah, definitely use this before and after back in the days for some interesting styling, but yeah, some icons like copyright or something like this. And yeah, just let's a bit messed up with it to see how it works. So we can put some content in the before and after of the element, and maybe we can write another paragraph. It was empty. Okay. Okay. So the pseudo elements are added inside the element right before and after the element content. We could rewrite the above example like so. So instead of, we can use span. And it can make more sense, I don't know, with pure CSS. Before and after makes sense, but maybe when you messing up with elements, I don't know, for me, like if I use Tailwind and React JS, I can have everything just like div. But yeah, I'm definitely missing some rules about how no, I heard there are some rules about what is the right way to use each element in HTML world, but yeah, I'm not there yet. Maybe will never be. Yeah, one thing I want to use CSS is I'm currently using learning Rust on streams, like reading Rust book, and there is a Deoxys. So there is some user interface framework in Rust, but it uses CSS for styling. And since I don't have any like exact project I'm gonna work with Rust, so when I finish the book I would like to mess up with different things, and just for practice it's maybe not something for production yet, but exploring the Rust world is definitely something for me. You can build desktop, mobile application, web, and with WASM, terminal user interface, full stack apps, etc. So see, it's desktop app, but all this styling is in CSS. I checked this example already, like you can see it's src, but there is style CSS. Again, I'm not sure, it's like 0.3, and if you ever want to build some production project with it, at least at this stage, but just for like pet project learning Rust, it for me it's like something really good. Anyway, let's back to our course. We was in the place where we replace before and after pseudo elements with the spawns. There is no significant difference in terms of performance between these two examples. Before and after are really just secret spans, nothing more. It's synthetic sugar. Okay. In general, we probably shouldn't use those two pseudo elements in vanilla HTML CSS world. It can be helpful to bundle content with a CSS selector. In the era of components, however, we have better ways to bundle and content. Yeah, this is actually what I was thinking, that maybe if it's plain HTML, CSS, it's nice, but in such thing like React.js, it may be better just use additional element like spawn and that's it. There are also some accessibility concerns with before and after. Some screen readers will try to vocalize the content, others will ignore them entirely. This inconsistency is problematic. That said, the effect is entirely decorative, e.g. colorful shapes. I believe it's fine to create them with an empty content string. Yeah, if you want something like this. Can we do it like this? Will it change anything? It's not changing the result if I modify it. Maybe I should restart the page. I don't know what happened. I wanted to have it in one line. How can I do it? No. Okay. Think we will learn in this course. So, combinators. When you think about it, the humble A tag has a lot of different hats to wear. The same element needs to handle navigation link in the header as well as inline links in an article. What if we wanted to only style navigation links? Well, we could do that using a combinator. So combinator. Yeah, this is structure. It's not just a single tag in selector, but we have like a tag in the navigation tag. Only in this case we apply this style. By putting space between nav and a, we're combining two selectors in very specific way. We are saying that the styles should only apply to a tags that are nested within nav tags. The first two links in this snippet qualify, but the last one doesn't. The term combinator refers to a character that combines multiple selectors. In this case, the space character combines nav and a to create descendant selector. The descendant selector will apply to all descendants, no matter how deeply nested they are. For example, the anchor tags will still work even if they inside a list. So yeah, the rules still apply even it's not directly, but yeah, it's still there. In CSS, we can differentiate between children and descendants. Think of family tree. A child is only one level down from the parent, and descendant might be one level down, child 2 level down, grandchild 3 level down, etc. What if we only want to target children and not deeper descendants? Here's an example using another combinator. Take a minute and poke it at it. I'll explain what's going on in this video below. Okay, so So yeah, we have this angle bracket. Main list, and we have dotted for the main list. So this li is a child and this one is descendant. So the child of the main list is applied this style like here, here, and the whole thing's here. But this L8 tag is not child of main list, it's descendant, so the rules is not applied. So yeah. This video was recorded in the earlier version of the code playground. The code is the same, but there are some all static differences. Okay. I think I need to enable the sound of desktop audio. Yeah, I have 1.8 speed for videos, but we can slow down if we need. Yeah, let me. Yeah, you see, now it's for all descendants, and this one is for childs. Yeah, to be honest, nothing new, but yeah, I already. No, actually, I don't know. Maybe I knew it some back in the days, but and use it, but now it's completely lost in my mind. So it's good this to have this fundamental recap. So exercises, receipt app. In this exercise, we update receipt app to have styled links. Here's our criteria. Main article links should have a color of deep link. So this one, pinky one. with no underline. Hovering will show an underline. Link in the aside should be black with an underline. Hovering will hide the underline. We should solve this problem by writing new CSS selectors, not by adding new classes to the A tags. We shouldn't have to modify the A tag at all. So let's do I don't know, let's just start messing up directly, like a color. I think this is fine. Now with no underline. Oh, text decorate. CSS underline. So I guess we need text decoration none. Should they have like semicolons, right? Yeah, and a or text decoration. What? Underline. So I think we're done with it. Link in the aside should be black. So let's copy paste it and do aside. Color black. This is none. This is underline. Yeah. So yeah, this is what we need. I don't know, is it the best way to style it? Here's our other styles. Okay, now let's see how the Josh will solve it. I think I messed up. So yeah, basically solution the same as we did, just we don't apply it to the specifically to the article because we haven't think in the context of the project. We just yeah, I thought it in the context of the just exercise, but yeah, the project context it will be something like this. Okay, let's go on. There's the color. So color in CSS is a huge topic and one that we'll revisit throughout this course. We'll learn how to do lots of phenomenal things with color, but for now we'll focus on the basics. We can adjust the text color of specified elements using the color property. Okay. Color formats. CSS include many different ways to represent color. A lot of developers use hex codes, but I believe there are better options. Let's see what those options are. Prefer a text format. The video below explores how 4 different color formats works. If you prefer to read an electronic article on the same subject, check out my blog post. So yeah, this is the free blog post, I believe. You can take a look. I put it in the chat. But I don't see... Yeah, I see it here, but on my iPad, I haven't really see it. Why? So, watching chat on the iPad is completely useless. Oh my gosh. How it's even possible? Twitch, you should do something about it. How supposed to interact with the chat? Alright, so what we're gonna do? Will we watch the video or read the article? Maybe let's watch the video. Yeah, I completely agree. So completely not readable, but I personally do some copy pasting of these hex values and use it. Yeah, so far there is nothing to discuss, just recap. But yeah, HSL, I don't really ever use it, so let's take a look. It's kind of cool. Is it here in the article? Look, just look how nice this article. Just a pleasant to not read it, but see. It's kind of piece of art. Yeah, so the RGB. So yeah, so representation of each format visually is super nice. And what about HSL? You see there is a degree. So nice. I don't know. What you guys think? Okay, and this is what we can change here. It's lightness and this is saturation. Okay, let's the article is huge, so let's just watch a video. Sorry, now I'm worried that I cannot see my chat updates in my iPad. Okay, so yeah, colors itself is a huge topic, and Yeah, my cat want to participate in the stream. Aren't you? Okay, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. After what do you want? I will play with you later today. Okay. So yeah, regarding the colors itself is a huge topic. Interesting to explore, like color schemes, this hue brightness. I don't really have any opinion on how to use it, like in CSS. I just accept it. Maybe HSL is a good way to use the colors. Yeah, my cat wants to communicate a bit. Okay, sit with me. But yeah, anyway. So you can use HOS colors anywhere you normally put hex color. Yeah, I see it kind of makes sense to have, maybe if you need something a little bit brighter, or yeah, for shaders, etc. But generally, I would say it maybe makes sense to have some color scheme. And it don't really matter how you will encode those colors. The first number is degree surfaceness. Yeah, and the next two numbers are percentage. The transparency. Certain color formats allow us to supply an additional value to the alpha channel. Yeah, sorry, I need to remove my cat. So yeah, sorry. Transparency. Transparency is certain color format allows us to supply additional value for the alpha channel. This is measure of opacity. At 1 default, the color is fully opaque and solid. And at 0, the color is invisible. We can specify decimal values to create semi-transparent colors. And here how we represent this in HSL. So H is the same. Oh, the color completely same, but this division is, this is 1, this is 0.75, 0.5. This is 25% of opacity. Okay. What's the deal with the slash? Many students have asked about this funky syntax. Why is there is a slash in the HS function? The slash character is becoming a more common pattern in modern CSS. It isn't about division, it's about separation. The slash allows us to create groups of value. The first group is about the color. The second group is about its opacity. Later we'll see how the same syntax can be used with border radius to separate horizontal and vertical radius values. It's also used in CSS grid when an element spawns multiple rows or columns. Browser support. This version of HSL color is part of 2016 revision to how colors work in CSS. It enjoys wide browser support, but will not work in the Internet Explorer. Yeah, this is something about old memes, but maybe still makes sense in some places in the world, but hopefully it's never touch me. So, background colors. The color property only affects the color of the text. If we want to set a color to the element background, we can use the background color property. Here is how we can create highlighter effect. What is actually the M tag? Maybe let's use Mozilla. HTML text element marks text that has stress emphasis. The M element can be nested, with each level of nesting indicating a greater degree of emphasis. Okay. Let's see how we can pass images and gradients to be used instead of solid colors and all of the cool things we can do with them. Sorry. Did I miss anything? Oh, later. Okay. Units. So units. This is actually interesting topic for me. I never really dive into it too much. I'm kind of using pixels, but yeah, I think it's huge in the CSS world. The most popular unit for anything size related is pixel. The pixels are nice because they correspond more or less with what you see on the screen. It's a unit that many developers get comfortable with. IMS unit is an interesting fellow. Its relative unit equal to the font size of the current element. Equal to the font size of current element. If a heading has font size 24 pixels and we give it a bottom padding of 2em, we can expect that the element will have 48 of caution underneath. Here is a quick playground. Try tinkering with the font size to get sense of how it works. So yeah, let's do 12. And background, is it like this? Red? Can I do this? Back. Okay. No, maybe not body, but some div. And let's have a div. Now, instead of padding, let's use margin. So this is the space in EM, and if we do 24, this is much bigger. Like you see, it's bigger than div, and previously for 12 it's not. Okay. I would say it's pretty confusing measurement EM. Here's another example. Try to change the font size to see how that affects the child spawns. Yeah, maybe it makes sense like in kind of these examples. Like we want to have relative font sizes. How often should you use IMs? I don't often reach for them. It can be very surprising when a tweak to font size affects the spacing of the descendant elements. This is especially true when it comes to modern component architecture. Using EMs means that a component's UI will change depending on font size of the container it's placed within. This can be useful, but more often than not, it's a nuance. Yeah, this is what I think as well. It's kind of not straightforward, but maybe there is some particular use cases. The RAM unit is much more useful in most circumstances. RAMs. So the RAM unit is quite a lot like EM unit with one crucial difference. It's always related to the root element, the HTML tag. All of the RAMs across your app will be taking their cues from that root HTML tag by default. The HTML tag has font size of 16 pixels, so one RAM will be equal to 16 pixels. Check out the following playground and then change the HTML elements font size. I want 1 pixel. Okay, let's do. Okay, not that crazy, but 24, maybe 12. All right. Notice how all the text scales accordingly when you change the root font size. That's why people like the RAM units. Now, no matter where an element in the DOM tree, the RAM is consistent. It behaves consistently and predictable, the pixel, but it respects user interfaces when it comes to increasing, decreasing default font sizes. Please note you shouldn't actually set a pixel font sizes on the HTML tag. This will override a user chosen default font size. The only reason we are doing it here is to demonstrate how the RAM unit works and to simulate a user changing their default font size. If you really want to change the baseline font size for RAM units, you can do that using the percentage. So percentage is also the like RAM, right? No. Oh, it's percentage for HTML. Okay, yeah, I got it. So percentage. The percentage unit is often used with width and height as a way to consume portion of the available space. Okay. Okay. In this example, we are creating a box with fixed size 250 by 250 pixels, and then add a child with relative size. When the size of box element change, the child will scale accordingly. Okay. Yeah. My cat is going crazy. Let me fix. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, percentage is straightforward for me. So we have percentage of from the parent, right? So there are some interesting quirks when it comes to percentage based values. We'll see them throughout the course, like when we talk about height algorithm or aspect ratios. When should I use which unit? Okay, I recently published a blog post, The Surprising Truths About Pixel and Accessibility. This blog post aims to answer the pixels with RAM thing once and for all. In the future, I plan on integrating this blog post in this course. For now, I strongly recommend that you check the blog post out. Consider it a bonus lesson from this course. So far I see the blog post of Josh is super cool pieces. I encourage you, if you're looking for learning about more about CSS or whatever his blog post about, just go straight to it. It looks so good. Oh. Oh, such a nice feature. Okay, just go to Josh website and try this one. You can even don't read the article, but this is amazing feature. But yeah, let's keep going. Typography. When web designers are learning how to design the web, they thought that text is the most important aspect. Remove the text from the page and it becomes totally unusable. The same might not be true for images or colors or styles. CSS gives us many levers we can pull to tweak the text on our page, and we'll go deep into them later on. For now, let's cover the fundamental of the styling text. Just the beginning. Hey there, just a friendly reminder, this model isn't meant meant as a quick recap. We'll go much deeper into many of those ideas later in this course. For example, Module 6 is all about typography and images, and we'll learn way more about how to style text on the web. Yeah, again, it's fundamental recap, just quickly going through different fundamentals of CSS, and the real entertainment will start on the module 1, I guess. So yeah, font families. You can change which font is used with font family property. It's called a family because each font consists of multiple character set. For example, Roboto includes 12 individual sets for font weights with 2 variants, normal and italic. So yeah, we actually use Roboto on current project, and this is 100, 400, 700. I think there is more. Yeah. Anyway, there are a handful of web-safe fonts. There are fonts that come pre-installed on all major operating systems like Arial, Times New Roman, Tahoma. Fonts families come in different styles. The two most popular, serif and sans serif. Serif is a little adornment at the edge of strokes. Serif fonts are very common in the print media, but less so on the web. They tend to create more sophisticated edged look. On the left is sans serif font with straight edges. On the right is serif font with curled tips. This is interesting piece. I never heard about it actually. So if I go to Helvetica, it's not have those things. So this is sans serif, right? On the left. Okay. Serif, or if we change, oh my gosh. Yeah, I actually saw this sensory serif thing, but I don't even realize what it is. This is cool. By passing a category instead of a specific font, the operating system will use a default system font from this category. For example, when specifying sans serif, Windows 11 will use Segoy UI, while macOS Venture use SF Pro. This can be used if you want your site app to feel native to its platform, but in general, we want to have our own branding. We can do this with a web font. Web fonts A web font is a custom font that we load in our CSS, allowing us to use any font we like. For example, Airbnb developed its own font in-house, Surreal, and use it across their web and native apps. Is it free? Yeah, Airbnb doing crazy thing in design world, I think. I heard they spent like huge money on the design just recently, I don't know, in some tweet or somewhere else. And look, they have their own font. Crazy. So yeah, we'll explore this concept in depth later in the course. For now, here's what we need to know. We can drop a snippet into our HTML, which will download with custom font onto the user device when they visit our site app. Okay. For example, this is the snippet that Google Font provides if we want to use Roboto, one of their hosted web fonts. Okay. This HTML snippet will make the web font available for us to use in our CSS. Here's how we use it. Font family, Roboto, it's when it's loaded. If not, and sensory. Okay. We use a web font and customary to surrounding its name in quotation marks. Like Roboto, this is technically only required if the font name has multiple words, but it's a worthwhile convention to make clear that it refers to a custom web font. I'm also specifying multiple comma separated fonts here. This is known as font stack. The idea is that the browser will use the first available font from the list. If the Roboto isn't available, e.g. because the download failed, or it's simply taken too long, we'll use Arial instead, and if the user device doesn't have Arial, it falls back to the system default sans serif font. Typical text formatting. Yeah, this is actually interesting because at work I just created super simple web app with like few pages, and actually I used some Roboto font, but I actually see how it appear with a delay because it's loading this font, and I don't have fallback there, and this is might be something I should try if it make any difference. So okay, yeah, it's even like fundamental recap is a lot of new things I'm learning here. Word processing software like Microsoft Word or Google Doc provide many ways to format text, and CSS has inherited some of those conventions. We'll focus on the three most common formatting options: bold, italic, underline. This section looks at how to accomplish those goals on the web. Okay, bold text, we can create bold text with the font weight property. Font weight bold. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think most people who work in with CSS are like familiar with those things. There is also numbering system from 1 to 1000, which let us control the font weight more precisely. Default value for font weight is 400 and the bold keyword map to 700. If you only supply a single font weight, the browser will do its best to represent bold text by thickening the characters. In general, it doesn't do a great job at this. We'll learn more in Model 6. Yeah, let's not stick to it right now. What this all deal with font. There is a Model 6 where typography described in depth. Basically, we know we have font weight and it has number representation and also some word representation like light, thin, no, normal, bold, etc. So italic text, when we communicate in person, there are all sorts of non-verbal calls that signal what we mean. Emphasis is an important tool in this toolbox. On the web, emphasis is generally represented by slanting the text at an angle. Angled text suggests that the words are being leaned into. We can apply italic text with this decoration. Font style italic. Okay. Similar bold text, the browser can simulate italic text by rendering the character at angle for best result, so we should supply an italic character set. Yeah, we should definitely load separate file for the italic font representation. So underline text. On the web, underline carry a very specific meaning. They tend to be links. We shouldn't therefore use underlines for visual effects or to signify that something is important and confuse user. That said, not all links will need underlines. For example, navigation links in sites header are rarely underlined, but it's clear from their presentation that they serve as links. You can toggle an element underlined with the text decoration property. Okay. Yeah, we did it in our exercise already. Styles and semantics. CSS allow us to change the cosmetic representation of text, but it doesn't affect the semantic meaning of the markup. For that, we need to use specialized HTML text. The strong HTML text is meant to convey that an element is critically important or urgent, like warning, product may explode if shaken. Jesus. The HTML tag is used for emphasis, the way one might emphasize a particular word in sentence, like these pretzels are making me thirsty. Oh my gosh, what examples. Semantics are important because not everyone can see the cosmetic styles. Okay, for a variety of reasons, some people use assistive technology like screen readers, software that reads the text using a synthesized voice to help them navigate the web. When we use the im tag, for example, the synthesized voice will stress the syllable much like a human word. That said, we'll apply specifically to copy and the text content on our websites. We don't need to follow the same rules when it comes to our UI elements. For example, we might want to make an input label bold, and we can do this purely in CSS without using a strong tag. So B and I tags, before we had strong im, we had B for bold and I for italic. When HTML5 came around and introduced semantic markup, Those two tags are deprecated in the year since, however, the tags have been undeprecated and given you semantic meaning. This used for draw attention to text without applying that it's urgent or important. Is used to highlight out of place content like foreign words or the internal thought that character is having a fiction. Okay. Now, I'll be honest, I rarely use B and I myself. I don't know why you'd want to draw attention to something that isn't important, and it's not clear to me what the semantic benefits are of the I tag. It is important to use semantic HTML, and we'll see plenty of examples throughout this course. My personal opinion is that I rather focus on higher impact things. Okay, so far I never thought about semantics, but right now I see it's something about accessibility, so at least for this from what I learned today. Let's move on. Alignment, another word processing concern. How do we tweak text alignment? We can shift characters horizontally using the text alignment property. So yeah, text alignment left, right, center, left, right, and center. Yeah. Text align is also capable of aligning other elements like images in general, so we'll use other tools for those kinds of jobs. We should reverse text align for text. Language directions. This example assumes that we are rendering left-right language like English. We shouldn't exercise caution when applying alignments in international products that support right to left hand like Arabic or Hebrew. We'll learn more about this in the next module. Okay. Text transform. We can tweak the formatting of our text using text transform properties like uppercase, capitalize. Okay. Why the text transform when we can edit the HTML? It's advisable to use this CSS so that the original version can be reversed. In the future, we may wish to undo the all caps treatment. If we have edited the HTML, we have to track down and change every single instance. But if we do it in the CSS, we only have to remove a single declaration. Yeah, of course, makes sense. Spacing, we can tweak the spacing of our chapters in two ways. We can tweak the horizontal gap between characters using letter spacing. Okay, let's do 13 here. Whoa. And the line height. Line height is a bit of an odd duck because it takes unitless number. This number is multiplied by the element font size to calculate the actual line height. As an example, suppose we have the following CSS: 2 rem 1 and 5. Okay. We can calculate the actual height of each line by multiplying the font size rem by the line height 1 and 5 for the right value of 3 rems. By default, browser come with a surprisingly small amount of line height. In Chrome, the default value is 115, in Firefox 12. Default values produce densely packed lines of text which can be hard to read for people who are dyslexic or have poor vision. To comply with accessibility guidelines, our body text should have a minimum line height 1.5. This is according to WCAG text spacing guidelines. Where it was actually opened. Oh, okay, it's here. Web associate. What is this actually? How extend this abbreviation? So yeah, web content accessibility guidelines. Okay, this is accessibility guidelines association. Okay, it's possible to pass other unit types in pixels RAM, but I recommend always using this unitless number so that the line height always scale with the element font size. If you use JS6 and React, there is a bit of gotcha here. Let's take a look. I'm using React. If you use inline style in React, you may be used to doing something like this. Maybe. In this case, we are setting an element font size to 18 pixels, but we haven't specified the pixel unit. React apply it for us automatically to make our life a bit easier. This won't work for line height though. With line height, unitless values are valid, and so React can assume that you wanted to use pixels. In this example, the lines aren't 24 pixels tall, they're 24 times taller than normal. To solve this problem, you can specify the value as string, but the better solution is to do math and use unitless value. You can learn more about why pixels are a bad idea with line height in my blog post. And again, maybe it's... Oh, we solved this one already. We put our hearts there. So yeah, and the last section in this fundamental recap module, debugging in the browser. Learning to effectively use the developer tools to debug CSS is a critical part of becoming proficient with CSS. We'll learn as we go, but here's a quick intro with some of my favorite tips. And yeah, Yeah, I like this trick with comments. Really neat. This is something I actually want to try. So oh, this is cool. Okay, so the trick is it's it's in Firefox. Okay. Yeah, a lot of cool, interesting features I will learn today. So something I neglect to mention in this video, you can pop open the DevTools by right clicking on, yeah, I'm using the shortcuts. Since it's Chrome, in this video I mentioned that Firefox will warn us about inactive CSS declaration. There is an unmet dependency. Chrome recently added support for the exact same feature starting in V, and what is my version? Yeah, I should have it already. So if you happen to use Chrome as your default browser, you can now enjoy this wonderful feature as well. Second running for latest me no. Yeah, think you aren't that we know it as well now. Rendering logic. So this is the place where real course starts, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to back to it somewhere next time. Yeah, I'm going to continue my Rust book reading streams. Not sure about CSS. Maybe, depending on my mood, what I want to do today, I will switch back and there, but personally, I will to finish the Rust book, because if I'm doing it too slowly, I started to forgetting things, etc. So let's see. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next stream.